went to Hartbury as a 16-year-old. And then the first night, I was literally on the phone to my dad, like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Wow.
Purely because of me being homesick. Like, it was nothing to do with the rugby or any of my teammates, nothing like that. It was like, I don't know, I just didn't like being away from home.
What was the toughest single part of it then?
Not making the team. Because I had such high expectations for myself, like, to then go over there and not make the team. You kind of need to get it off your chest. And that'll just take such a weight off your shoulders.
Welcome to Under the Surface podcast. Together with Original Penguin and Calm, the campaign against living miserably, we're on a mission to challenge the stigma surrounding mental health. Our journey takes us to an important place from our guests' lives, which has helped them navigate through tough times. Tune in as we hear from voices in music, sport, and entertainment who are ready to reveal the private battles behind their public personas. Join us as we go under the surface. Our journey today takes us to the Wolfpack in Fulham, who've kindly opened their doors to us through their rugby connections.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of Under the Surface with myself, Adam Smith. Delighted to say, joining me on the pod this week, it's a Welsh Rugby star turned NFL player, all-round legend, Louis Rees-Zammit. Louis, how are you, mate?
Yeah, good, mate, yeah.
And we've got the whole location to ourselves today.
Yeah.
So we're going to, it's a nice location. We're going to delve into, there's a lot I want to delve into with you, actually, because your story, considering you're only 24 years of age, is quite remarkable. A big sporting family. So let's take it back to growing up with your family and where your sort of love for sport came from, and multiple different sports as well.
Yeah, so growing up, my dad was a massive NFL fan. Growing up, he played American football in the UK. So like, we always used to like kind of watch the games on the Sunday, whatever games were on TV.
Yeah.
Big football fans, Man United fans.
Yeah.
Which you probably don't like to hear about.
Yeah, I'm Spurs fan, yeah. Epic game, that one, by the way. Now, so epic game.
Yeah, and then just obviously living in Wales, like playing rugby is what everyone wants to do. So played rugby from the age of 6. So quite young.
Yeah.
Quite young.
So was that the only age, sport that you were playing? You were into all the other sports. Were you playing football as well?
No,
because NFL, what is the pathway like as a 6-7-year-old in this country to actually participate in that sport?
Yeah, it's quite tough, to be honest with you. It's more like when you get older and you go to college, go to university in America. That's kind of the main way to get there. They have an NFL academy now, so boys age 16 and above, I think, go to the academy and then try and get a scholarship in America. But yeah, just tried to play as many sports as possible as a kid. Played football, played rugby, played cricket. Into my golf now. Like whatever sport with paddle, like everything. Yeah, try to play.
It's all the rage now, paddle.
Yeah, it's good now.
So what kind of kid were you then? I want to get into the sort of mindset of growing up. Were you a shy kid, confident kid?
I mean, I was confident in my sporting ability. Like shy probably in terms of like talking to people and like I was a bit of a, like in class I was quite silly, but like I don't know, I was pretty confident when it came to sport. Like that was the one thing I was like, this is what I love, so this is what I want to do.
We're going to talk about I'm going to call it a rapid rise, because actually I would describe you as someone that burst onto the scene in the sporting world, and I'm going to list in a minute what you achieved at a young age, because it is quite incredible. When did you realise you had something special with regards to rugby? Because I was a sporty kid as well. We all had that dream. Didn't manifest for me quite like it did for you, but we all had this dream of becoming an elite athlete. When did you realise it was actually more of a reality?
I'd probably say at 16 when I kind of left Cardiff and moved to Hartbury in Gloucester. That's a big rugby school. So when I went there, I kind of got into an environment and a culture of boys that really want to be professional rugby players. And that's kind of when I figured out that was what I wanted to do.
Really?
And I just gave it my all pretty much, because I was away from my family and stuff. Obviously living up there in Gloucester. Like it was kind of that or nothing really. Like I studied A-levels for like a day and then realised all the rugby boys was doing a BTEC. So I just changed courses straight away.
Wow. A day, sorry, just to clarify, a day.
A day.
Okay.
Because I was like, I want to do A-levels.
Yeah.
My family wants me to do A-levels. And then probably like 3 rugby players did A-levels. Wow. And everyone else was in like their own class, like a class together. So I was like, I want to be with that group. So
Wow.
everything was focused on, like, the classes are around the rugby pretty much. So everything was fully focused on rugby.
Obviously, as an elite athlete you must have amazing perks of job. You're living every kid's dream. But I want to talk about some of the challenging moments at that age. I read an article you did that said you cried your eyes out that first night. As a 16-year-old, you just said something very interesting there, that you knew it was your pathway, but with that comes challenges, pressures. So how is your mindset at 16? Because your brain's not fully developed then even. You're away from your family, you're in a different environment completely. So what is that like as a challenge at that young age?
Yeah, it was tough for me. Like, even doing sleepovers as a kid, I was always getting homesick.
Were you?
Yeah. Like, my mum or dad would come pick me up, and all the boys I don't know why, but that was just me. And went to Hartbury as a 16-year-old. And then the first night I was literally on the phone to my dad, like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Wow.
Purely because of me being homesick. Like, it was nothing to do with the rugby or any of my teammates, nothing like that. It was like, I don't know, I just didn't like being away from home. And then my dad literally, like, texts me back saying, "You'll get over it," or something, like, just straight to the point, like, just, you'll do it.
Yeah.
And then literally from that moment, I slept that night, and then I didn't even think about it again.
Really?
Yeah, it was the best, like, 2 years of my life.
How important was that message as well? Because we talk a lot. We have so many different underlying themes on this podcast, but we always come back to the support network and how important that is.
Yeah.
I mean, how important was that message from your dad, that phone call, to really help you get through it? I mean, if you hadn't had that call, might you have chucked it in and gone down a different route?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what would have happened. Like, if he turned around and said, "I'll come pick you up now," then I mean, I probably would have gone.
Really?
But he was like stick at it and see what comes of it. Like, he was like, at least give it like a bit of time.
Give it a go, yeah.
And then literally that one night, I fell asleep, woke up, and I literally didn't even think about it again.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
what advice would you have for people that might be going through different moves? Not necessarily in the sporting world, but people moving jobs or moving away from families, like that might have that similar mindset of you to struggle with, particularly the homesickness.
Yeah, I mean, like, you got to give it time, because, like, your mind, your body needs to adapt to, like, different scenarios, and that might take a day, it might take a week, it might take a month, but, like, if you get to the point that you finally, like, no, I don't want to do this anymore, then that's fair enough. But I think you got to give things time in life. And like, for me especially, like, leaving one sport, going to another, and then coming back, like, I've gone through a few challenges,
Hasn't he?
but, like, I still gave them all enough time for me to be like, right, this is it, what's next?
Yeah, we're going to come on to talk about that. There's so much I want to ask you about the move and the transition and coming back. But in terms of that stage, it clearly works out well. I've got the exact age here, 18 years, 70 days. You're the youngest ever player to play Premiership rugby for Gloucester. So talk me through that moment. Do you feel ready in that moment? Do you feel nervous? What's the mindset going into that?
Yeah, it was actually a weird one, because there's like a competition for the boys that don't play in the first team but have signed contracts, so they're not in the academy. There's like a league, it was called A-League, and I got put on the bench for that game, which was quite a big thing because I was 18 at the time, and someone came off injured in the first 20 minutes, and I had my opportunity then, and I, like, scored a try from kickoff in front of the first team coaches.
Wow.
Away at Bristol. And then the week after, he put me in for my debut. Wow. Against Bath in a West Country derby. Sold out stadium. It was unbelievable. So that week for me was just, like, life changing.
Yeah, because just even the way that you're articulating that to me, the smile on your face. So you going into those games, that period when you're 18, are you nervous? Are you confident? What is the mind? I'm talking about before you're going out and you can hear the roar of the crowd and stuff. Because I think it's amazing now. You look in so many sports, the age profile of some of these players that are playing at the top level. And there's like 15, 16-year-old players playing Premier League football, for instance. It's mind-blowing. I always look at it and it seems like these young players, I don't want to generalise, but a lot of them now, that they look like they've got there's just that fear factor. Can you relate to that? Were you experiencing that?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, my coach gave me a lot of confidence just to, have no fear, go out there, like, if you're old enough, you're good. If you're good enough, you're old enough, like that kind of saying. And literally when I went out there, I was just full of confidence. And, like, I wasn't thinking about making mistakes. or like doing anything wrong. Like it was all like, right, what's the next thing? What are you going to do for this team that's going to help kind of win the game or have an impact on that specific scenario? But yeah, it was just full of confidence. And now, as you see, like you got players like Lamine Yamal come in playing at 16 years old.
Crazy.
Like it is crazy, but it's just a confidence thing.
Yeah. And then in terms of the profile and the public eye and the social media aspects of all of that, because you were someone that I think have burst onto the scene. You achieved a lot as a young player. I'm going to come on to talk about your success in Wales as well. I mean, because it's amazing what you achieved as a young player. How does that work for a player when you're getting so much attention on social media and from the media in general? Because I imagine there's pros and cons to that.
Yeah, there is. Like mine was like a 2-week period where I had like over 100,000 followers from like 2 games in the Six Nations.
Wow. So you gained 100,000 followers in a 2-week period.
Yeah, so we went away to Scotland in the Six Nations, 2021 Six Nations, and it was during COVID, so like obviously everyone was watching the games on the TV. It was pretty easy to get their phones out and look some
huge viewing figures, weren't there, for sports? Because everyone was in.
Yeah, it was massive. And then I ended up scoring 2 tries and we won the game. I got man of the match, and I looked at my phone after the game. I had 80,000 followers more, and I was like, wow, this is crazy.
Post more. Yeah. Just out for dinner. Hashtag great meal.
I've been there. We all been there. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was crazy though. And I was kind of like running on such a high, and I was playing really well at the time. So like a lot of it was supportive messages and people cheering me on and commenting, well played, all of this kind of stuff. But obviously, you get the other side of that as well. When you don't start to play as well, and then you kind of get the hate and the bad messages. But I kind of had to learn from a young age. I didn't really have any social media training or anything.
Great point. I just saw, right?
Yeah, it was just kind of do it on the go. But thankfully, I have a really close family, and they mean everything to me. So they're my kind of support, and if anything goes wrong, like I'm with them every day.
Yeah,
so
great point.
I got someone to talk to.
I think it's really interesting what you say there as well, because you play, like from the outside, obviously you play a very physically demanding, ultra macho sport, rugby. You're looking great, Nick, but you're also vulnerable as a young player experienced now. I think just picking up on what you said, you have no training to get 100,000 followers. Yeah. So when you do get the other side of it, the trolling, or there's injuries and you're not playing, or if you do have a bad game, are you taught or are you told by the sport network to not go on social media? Is there any rules that you sort of implement to help you get through the difficult moments?
I mean, yeah, because I didn't have any social media training, like I would literally I wouldn't even tap on the messages. I would just ignore them.
Would you?
Yeah. And like a lot would be like in requests, and like that means you literally have to tap on it to see the hate.
Yeah.
But literally, like I would only kind of, in the period that if I was playing bad, I'd reply to the closest people around me.
Yeah.
My friends, family, coaches, teammates, and then kind of just get back to a foundation where you can just build on it, and then you can start playing better. You're not thinking about kind of looking on messages, seeing trolls. Like you kind of put that to one side and just focus on your rugby, because ultimately that's what got you there.
Yeah.
So that's what's going to get you back up here. So I just build a foundation and then just build from it.
Yeah, great way of looking at it. You're still a young man now, obviously, but you're fairly experienced in terms of how long you've been playing the sport. So now that you are a young, experienced player, shall I say, do you sort of look at what you do post and don't post differently to what you were when you were 16?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much all I post now is just rugby stuff, and like birthday stuff or like hobbies.
Yeah.
Like if I go play golf, if I like building Lego, if I want to build Lego.
Lego.
Yeah, I'm a bit only recently. But yeah, there's some cool bits of Lego out that I've been building just in my spare time, like after training, just to take my mind off.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. Is that important to have hobbies that are completely unrelated to rugby?
Yeah, because your days can be quite long in rugby, and like all you're doing is focusing on rugby. So like when you get home, you just want to kind of just chill. And for me, that's Lego is literally just like it's so easy to do. So like I'm just sat there, just got TV on the background and just literally just focusing on that, like not having to think about anything to do with rugby or just like just switching off pretty much. And that really helps me kind of when I go back to training the next day. That's when I can put all my energy back into that.
I like that. Like Lego is easy to do unless you lose the instruction manual, the steps, then it gets a bit
or a little block, and then it just ruins the whole
I know what you mean. We're going to continue talking about your. I mean, it's incredible, really, how much you achieved at a young age. Because we spoke about your debut at 16 and 18, but by the age of 20, you'd made your debut for Wales. You'd won a Six Nations. You went on tour to South Africa with the Lions, making you the youngest player, incidentally, to be selected since 1959. So, did you look back on that period and just think, did it almost go quicker than you'd even imagined it went?
Yeah, 100%. Well, it was all literally in 2 years.
Yeah.
It was actually a year and a half, because like when I made my debut, that was kind of the end of the season before, and then I had that whole season where I went into the autumn internationals. That's when I made my debut for Wales, and then that's when the Six Nations happened I was talking about, and then that was the Lions tour straight after that. So it was all literally within like a year and a half.
Talk to me about the Six Nations.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Six Nations champion that young.
It was amazing. I mean, no one expected us to do it at that time either. We just had a new coach. Gats left after the World Cup. Wayne Pivac came in. And then that was my first Six Nations, because I was in the Six Nations before, but I didn't get capped. So I was just in the campaign, learning, did the Autumn Internationals in the November, and then it came to that Six Nations, and we ended up winning it. But the final game was the killer one. We had France away, and that was for the Grand Slam.
Grand Slam, yeah.
That was for the Grand Slam, and then we ended up losing in the 82nd minute.
Yeah.
Which is horrible. It was a horrible feeling.
So that's
it felt like we'd lost.
Yeah.
It felt like we'd lost the Six Nations, but we ended up winning it.
So it's mixed emotions that must be there. That must be quite sort of challenging, because you've achieved something amazing, but you looking at what else you could have achieved there.
Yeah, because I mean the Grand Slam's like the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And to lose it, final play of the game, was absolutely devastating. But because it was COVID, one of the games got postponed for the week after, so we didn't know we won the Six Nations until France played Scotland the week after.
Yeah.
And Scotland ended up beating France, and we'd won the Six Nations. So like, it was so weird because of COVID. Like,
lots to get your head around there.
Yeah. And like you couldn't go out and celebrate with like your team.
Yeah.
Like, because nothing was open, it was COVID. Like, it was a weird feeling.
Wow, must be strange. Yeah. And talking about the Lions, because I think what's amazing about the Lions tour is I see so many players talk about the fact that you're going into a changing with players that obviously are used to being rivals and then coming together. What's that like as a young player going into that?
It was quite weird. Like, I'd only play. I mean, because I literally just played my only Six Nations. Like, I'd only played those people like once, those boys once. So I can imagine it's probably weirder for the boys that have played them loads and loads, and then it's like, right, your teammates now. But for me, it was just like, wow, I'm meeting all these unbelievable rugby players.
Yeah.
And I get to be a part of a squad that's the best out of the Four Nations. So it was a great feeling, obviously, like being one of the youngest for however many years. Got to carry Bill as the youngest. You got to carry the mascot with you the whole way.
What was that like?
It was good. I mean, boys stole it loads from me.
Right.
They try and hide it, and you get fined. And but no, it was really enjoyable toil. Obviously, it was COVID still, so like we didn't have fans in the stadiums, so that was a bit of a shame. We didn't get to really get like the full South Africa experience in that sense. Thankfully, the year after, we went to South Africa or Wales on a summer tour, and that's when fans were back in the stadiums. And unbelievable. Oh, it's one of the best I've ever had.
Was it in your whole career?
Yeah.
Wow.
That and the Stade de France, and
when
we played France in the Six Nations, they're my two favourite places to go play.
On that, that must have been incredible, that the difference in atmosphere from basically no one or a few selection of people that were allowed in the stadium to then the first year back, like everyone was gagging for sport at that point. Do you, with that atmosphere change so dramatically, do you feel the pressure more because of the atmosphere? Do you feed off it? How does that sort of affect you as an athlete?
Yeah, because I played 11 times, I think it was.
Yeah.
for my country before even having fans at the stadium. So
wow,
my first game back was against South Africa at the Principality Stadium, and there was 80,000 there, and like that was my like 12th cap, but it was my first game for Wales with a crowd.
So you're more nervous in that?
Yeah, I was more nervous for that.
That's interesting.
Because like, well, to be honest, I had it quite easy because I didn't have any fans. Like I was just going to play rugby.
Yeah.
And then you go and play in front of 80,000.
Yeah.
You get butterflies in your stomach. Like,
yeah,
literally. I was nervous, put it that way. But then you play it once and it's like, wow, I want to play it. I wish I could play that every day.
Really?
Yeah, like hearing 80,000 in a stadium, like cheering you on. It's just, especially the Principality, it's such a good stadium.
Yeah, incredible. You also became a patron about this sort of similar time for Sporting Wellness UK in 2021. So talk to me about how sort of that journey started and why that was so important for you.
Yeah, obviously being my rise being so quick at such a young age, like having support there if needed is, I mean, it's what everyone needs.
Yeah.
As a youngster playing a sport, and for me it was very important because obviously you're playing at such a high level at such a young age. Like people can get onto you about certain things, right. And just being able to have someone there to talk to, I think, is massively important.
And how key is that? Because I think back to when I had difficulties with my mental health. It was like I never wanted to talk to anyone because I didn't want to burden anyone. And it was the time I started presenting, so I was in the public eye and everyone assumed everything was going great. But there was battles I was struggling with. It wasn't until I actually started talking to the right people, I would say as well, that you realise how much of a weight can be lifted off your shoulders. So it's interesting that you've had that at such a young age to always want to talk to people and sort of share your positive experiences, but also help you. I mean, has that always been the case throughout your career, that you felt that's helped you in your career?
Yeah, 100%. Because at a young age when you're playing at a high level or any sort of level, like there's a lot of pressure on you to play. And like Sporting Wellness, like for me has been unbelievable because they got the right people to talk to. As you said, that is massive. But it does just take that weight off your shoulders. And keeping it in is never the right option, really. Or you always need kind of someone to talk to, whether it's in sport or it's not in sport. Like, people can struggle mentally and other people don't know about it.
Yeah.
So like, just having someone there to talk to was great for me as such a young age.
Has that been as important as your physical? Obviously, you're in great nick. I saw you getting changed earlier. It's not out as a body fat on you. I need to get down to the gym, by the way. But we know that you're in great nick, obviously, because you're a professional Welsh rugby player. But how important is looking after your mind? Because everyone goes to the gym or they talk about what they do for their physical health. But it feels like for me, only recently people start talking about what they can do for their mental health as well. Has that been as important for you as a rugby player?
Yeah, 100%. Just being able to go into every day with a clear mind, like whether it's going into training or it's going into games, like just having a clear mind of everything kind of makes everything else so much easier. It just allows you to focus on what you need to focus on, put your energy into whatever that certain thing is. And for me, that's been really important. Because then I can just go and kind of enjoy what I'm doing. And, you know, playing rugby from such a young age, I've just enjoyed every moment. And that's what I want to continue to do. I don't want to have to think about anything externally. Like, I want all my energy into that specific moment.
Have you had moments of anxiety or burnout? What's been the sort of toughest moments of your career so far, would you say, where you feel like you have had difficulties with your mental health?
Probably, obviously, changing sports. Like, it was very tough because you go in from, like, rugby where I was playing for my country, playing on a Lions tour, and then kind of going to the NFL where I was a complete rookie. And like not many people have heard of me. Like you're going into a sport that you don't fully know and like never played before, and then you're trying to compete with people that have played from such a young age. Like it was tough. And then also kind of getting information. Basically, I was talking to loads of organizations and they were saying certain things.
Right.
And then obviously when it doesn't come into fruition, it's like, that can hit you pretty hard.
It's tough. Yeah.
And that's what I did. I obviously joined the Chiefs, and then ended up not making the team, and then joining a completely different team, moving places again.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
Thankfully, my family were with me the whole way, so I kind of had them to lean on to. But that was probably the hardest part for me.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because I remember it being huge news at the time, because as you quite rightly said, we've just gone through everything that you've achieved. Huge name in rugby. Suddenly, you want to become an NFL player, which is very rare for a sports person to do in the midst of their career. We often see sometimes people wanting to try something else after their career. So where did that come from, and why did you decide to make that decision?
Yeah, so I had an opportunity to go on the international player pathway, and that's in January. And obviously rugby seasons are from like September till June.
Yeah.
So like I wouldn't be able to go on it, and I wouldn't have the opportunity if I wasn't out of my contract. And thankfully Gloucester released me and allowed me to go on the international player pathway. And I mean, the whole thing stems back to kind of, as I said before, like my dad was a massive NFL fan.
Yeah.
We used to watch it like every Sunday. And it was just kind of one of those, it would have been his dream to play in the NFL. And I kind of wanted to try and give it a go for him, kind of thing. But also I obviously loved it. And I kind of wanted it to make it kind of for him.
Yeah. I read an interesting quote that says you were mentally and physically challenged over there. So you sort of alluded to it previously, but I just want to tap into that a little bit more, of how that compared to when you were starting out as a rugby player, the challenges that you said, but the physical and mental challenges of actually moving country, different sport. And again, somewhere where as a young rugby player, everyone seemed to know you are because you burst onto the scene, but respectfully over there, less people knew who you were. So was it completely different when you started out in rugby?
Yeah, it was completely different, because I didn't have the confidence of knowing if I was any good at the sport.
Wow, that's interesting, really.
Yeah, like,
so you always back yourself playing rugby?
Yeah,
right.
Because I played it from such a young age.
Yeah,
like I've played hundreds of games, but then you go to a sport where you've never ever played it before, and you're trying to compete with the best players in the world.
Wow.
And I joined a team that was the best team in the world. So like,
just started easy, right?
Yeah. It couldn't have been a harder start for me.
Yeah.
But like, it was such a good experience.
Yeah.
Like I absolutely loved it. I got to meet so many like cool people, teammates. Obviously got to live in America for 18 months.
Yeah, not bad.
Not bad at all, living in Florida. So weather's a bit better than here.
It's like Disney, yeah. Have you looked through the window on a cold day, wet day? What was the toughest single part of it then?
I'd probably say not making the team.
Was it?
Yeah. Because I had such high expectations for myself, like, to then go over there and not make the team. Because I was on such a high playing rugby and stuff, and then you go over to a new sport and you're obviously still confident in your ability, but then you think about it, it's a completely different sport, and I've got to try and pick it up in 5 months to make a team, and then you don't make the team, and then it's like, right, you got to go through the whole process again. You got to wait a year. You're in the practice squad, you got to wait a year or a season, because a lot of it, like when you're an international player, they don't, like, because you've never played before, they're not going to trust you as much as they're going to trust the guys coming through college and have played the sport from such a young age. So that's probably why it's so tough to make it as an international player, unless you go through the college system, where you've shown 3-4 years of playing the game. And I mean, that's why it was so tough for me.
Yeah, and I imagine it's a lot of data-driven sport, isn't it? You watch all the documentaries. There's a lot of data that they wouldn't have had that data on you to go off, would they? Because like you said, you didn't play college football and stuff. So does that put you at a disadvantage as well, in a way?
Yeah, it does, because they've never seen me play the sport.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's kind of one of them where it's like, it's intriguing for them to see if I could play.
Yeah,
and that's why I had so many offers from different organisations, and they obviously wanted to see what I'd be like. And then joined the first year with the Chiefs, played running back, and I probably shouldn't have played running back. I should have probably played receiver from the start, which they even told me at the end. But kind of I went from joining the Chiefs in a year. I played for 2 different teams. I played under 3 different coaches.
Yeah.
I had to learn 3 different playbooks. So I literally had to learn over 1,500 plays in a year.
Wow.
My start,
1,500 plays in a year.
yeah, my start was pretty tough. I joined the reigning Super Bowl champs, and then kind of had 3 different playbooks to learn, which I've never ever had to learn a playbook before in my life.
Talk about that a little bit, about what that involves and how technical the sport is.
Yeah, it's absolutely mental. Like, it's so hard to explain. Like, even now, like, experiencing it for 18 months, like, I still struggle to explain, like, because there's just so much you got to learn. Like, every position's got to learn a certain thing. And basically, the quarterback goes into the huddle and he'll say a play or 2 plays, and you've got about 15 seconds to line up, go through the process of where you got to be, what route you got to run. If the defense changes their kind of setup, you got to realize that, and you got to change your route. And then all of this is going on for a 3-second play.
Wow.
So you got to, it's tough. Wow. And you go into a game with a lot of plays. That could be called at any time. And basically, when the quarterback says the play, you have to know it.
Wow.
Otherwise, it just ruins the play for everyone.
And this is while you're getting, obviously, physical tackles, and
this is in the whole,
you might be drained, and so the concentration aspect is a massive part of it.
It's huge, and credit to those boys that play that sport, because it is very tough. And I mean, I didn't end up making it, but those boys are exceptional in kind of receiving information quick and being able to execute.
Is that a correlation? You see, obviously ability is huge, but a correlation between the ones that really make it is how they can understand and interpret plays quickly.
Oh, 100%. And kind of who can run the best routes. There's all of that comes into it as well. But it's receive it. You receive so much information throughout kind of like pre-season and heading into the season, heading into the weeks, and then on game day you kind of have to perform.
How do the 2 sports compare physically? Because you've gone in at 2 very physical sports there. What you excel in that?
I mean, they're both very physical.
You've
obviously got pads in one sport and non-pads in the other, but that kind of allows you to probably hit harder because you're kind of all protected. But I feel a lot more sore after a rugby game. Although I kind of only played 3 pre-season games, so there might be better people to ask about this question. But I feel so sore after rugby games, and I mean, we don't wear pads or anything, so I can't really compare because I haven't played enough to be able to tell you. But they're both very physical sports.
On that as well, just picking you up in your body language there, obviously we're talking about your rugby career, and I was looking at your face, your smiles, what you've achieved. You said there you had a great time over there. I'm sure you don't have any regrets because you've tried it, but it was interesting. Do you look back on it and feel like you've had sort of unfinished business with that? Because it's interesting, you said the toughest thing was not playing and the challenges and the coaches and the playbooks. It looks like you didn't regret anything, but you have that. Do you still have that what if about your NFL career?
Not really anymore.
Fine.
No. Like, I had 18 months of experience in it, and I'd probably say if maybe I went to college, things would have turned out differently because I would have been able to play the sport. But it's probably too hard to go straight into the NFL. As like a receiver as well. Like, those boys they're playing the sport from such a young age. They're knowing their stuff. They're running routes from 7 years old.
It's so fun.
Like, for me, never having done that before, going into there, it's probably a bit too tough of a challenge.
Fair play. So you're back in rugby. What was the sort of final decision then to go, do you know what, I want to come back into rugby?
I just miss playing.
Did you? Simple as that?
Simple as that. Like, I would train all week and then not play on the weekend. And I did that for 18 months. And obviously previously I was playing every week. So I just miss playing, to be honest with you. And I miss rugby, like how involved you can get in a game. Like, obviously American football, unless the quarterback throws you the ball. I mean, ultimately, you're not.
Yeah, it's interesting.
You're not getting the ball.
Yeah.
So, whereas in rugby, it's a free-flowing game. Like, you get yourself into the game, you can have an impact on the team, and that's kind of what I miss. And I was like, I'm ready to go back now.
So how did that work out? The sort of logistics thing. You said that you were coming back. Did you have multiple offers? Obviously, Bristol. Yeah. Did you have multiple teams coming in? Like,
Yeah.
how did that actually manifest? Because people have to know that what you want to do, right?
Yeah. So when I announced I was coming back, that's when obviously brother's an agent, so he got talking to clubs that kind of contacted him. I had a few offers, but for me, it was ultimately, I want to go to a team that plays exciting rugby.
Yeah.
And that's challenging for trophies. And I think Bristol was the perfect team for me.
Yeah.
We play such good rugby, and it just allows me to kind of express myself on the field. And we play such a good attacking game that kind of as many times as I can get the ball, like I can have an impact on the team.
And it sounds like you're loving playing there and loving being back.
And I actually love it. And you know, these past like three months that I've been back, like, have probably been some of my favorite times of my life.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting you said life there, not career. So
Yeah.
actually, this is some of the happiest, most enjoyable part of your life that you've had.
It is, because I always had that thing in the back of my mind, like going to the NFL, and like since I've done it, obviously it didn't work out, but like it was kind of a weight off my shoulders, and now I can just fully go into rugby and give it my all. I don't need to hold back on anything. I don't need to think about anything else. Like these times now are just really enjoyable for me, because it's like me playing as a kid. Like just going out there every day in training, in the games, like just loving it.
Yeah, I love that. And you must have taken, there must be a lot of positive you took from another sport.
Yeah.
What have you taken from that in terms of your mindset and what you can go on to achieve? Because it sounds like you seem very free and light and happy now. Like what did you take from that experience that can actually help your rugby career?
Yeah, there was a lot of it is probably the physical side of it.
Is it?
Yeah. Like previously in rugby, like obviously I was very quick, but I probably didn't have that kind of physicality side of it. I was a young boy as well.
Yeah.
So that didn't help. But like the more I matured throughout these couple of years, I found myself like kind of bigger, and it's just allowed me to play with a lot more confidence. Like not knowing that, right, you just have to run around someone. Like now I can use my footwork that I learned in the NFL.
Yeah.
I can use my physicality.
Yeah.
I've also got my speed, which helps. But it's just added a few kind of strings to my bow, and the more strings I can add to my bow is going to make me a better player.
Like it. And back in a Wales jersey, for the Welsh fans watching this, that must have been a special moment putting that jersey on.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was unbelievable. Like as a kid growing up in Wales, like rugby is the thing to play. And you know, when I first got capped, it was an unbelievable special feeling. But like coming back now, it feels like I've just been capped again. Like going out there in front of so many fans, so many Welsh fans. It's just so exciting. I'm very grateful for, you know, the coaches around me for allowing me the opportunity.
Yeah, of course, Six Nations coming up. How do you rate Wales's chances?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we got new coaches now. We've got a new squad. So we've just built a foundation this autumn. I think we've got a long way to go, but at the same time, like we've built a really good foundation. And I mean, with Steve Tandy, you know, as head coach, I think he's absolutely brilliant, and all the boys are really behind him. And yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one. And we're all looking forward to it.
Yeah, I bet. And of course, World Cup. You know, I'm going with this one. Wales in the same group.
Yeah.
Just what your thoughts on that? Because that is going to be special.
Yeah, I mean, Wales England is the biggest game in rugby for me, anyway. I've had the opportunity to play a couple times. I've been on both sides of it. I've won, I've lost, but to play in the group stages of a World Cup against England it's going to be special.
Yeah, I can see from your face you're buzzing about this, aren't you? It's to be
I mean, it's my favourite game to play. So like playing against England at a World Cup, that's going to be unbelievable.
So we've got your thoughts on the World Cup, Six Nations. I've got to ask you about Man United. You're a big Man United fan. You had to Palace away recently. You've been to a lot of games.
Yeah.
What do you make of all things going on at Man United this season?
Yeah, obviously we went for a period of kind of showing some sort of identity in the way we're playing. I mean, the past two games probably not so much so. So I don't really know where we're at the minute.
Yeah, fair.
But ultimately, I don't really care. Like, I'm there to support the team, and I go to as many away games as possible. So I'm gonna continue to do that this year and keep cheering them on.
I think it's only right that we sort of wrap it up by just asking you about what you've learned, really, because it's amazing thinking you're only 24. Sorry to keep saying that, but in terms of what you've achieved in your journey, the experiences you've had stateside, over here.
Yeah.
So what are the biggest sort of lessons that you've taken and the biggest sort of challenges you've overcome, would you say?
Well, ultimately, I was kind of playing rugby for such a long period of time, and I think when you want something so bad, I think you just gotta go for it. And ultimately, that's what I did. I left rugby behind, and I just went for it. And I mean, that could be a message for anyone in life, really. Like, if you have something that you want to go do, like, just back yourself and do it.
Yeah.
Like, may not work out, but it also may do you very well. Obviously, I'm back in rugby now, and I'm absolutely over the moon, as you could probably tell. This whole podcast, I've been smiling. But yeah, just I've learned so much mentally, physically. But it's just about going to back yourself and picking something you love.
Yeah, and we always end with this, just your advice. I think you're so well placed to answer this. The work that you do with the charities, how you look after your mental health. You said earlier in the podcast that it's as important as your physical health. So to hear a sportsman who's at the highest level say that, I think will resonate with a lot of people. So for people that, obviously there'll be a lot of people listening to this that aren't in the same shoes that you, they might be relating to your story, that might be going through these very difficult moments for a lot of people out there at the minute. What advice would you have for people that might be struggling based on what you've experienced?
I mean, get someone to talk to, first of all, whether that's family, whether that's a charity, whether that's best friends. Like, there is, you kind of need to get it off your chest. And that'll just take such a weight off your shoulders. And I think, I mean, I've been through it with things not working out the way I wanted it to work out. And then it's just about overcoming that and having a kind of that mindset to do the next thing and do it well and do things you love. And ultimately now I'm back doing something I love.
Yeah, good for you, mate. I've got to say, it's been an absolute honour to have you on the pod. You've been so honest and open. I think it'll help a lot of people. So thanks for coming down and taking the time. I know it's a bit of a journey for you, so I really, really appreciate it. And all the best rest of the season.
That's what I'm here. Thank you, man.